Hello everybody, welcome back. This is Kevin with survivalistboards.com, and today we are working on the second half of the chicken coop. Hopefully y'all been following my other videos about my chicken coop project, and this is the walls for the second half. I built half of it on one weekend, put up a plywood wall where the second half was going to bolt on, and this is the second half. We've got the bottom boards that are going to be down on the ground propped up and got a coat of paint on. We're using treated lumber on all the way around. Any boards that are exposed to the weather, we're using treated lumber on, and to help to make sure the treated lumber gets as much weather protection as it can. We're painting anything that's going to be exposed, so we're getting like hopefully double protection. We've got just about most of the frame built and moved in position so it could be mounted up against the other coop. All that we need to do now is put the wire on. I've got another board, this board right here. It's going to go right there. I've got some the plywood to put up, using screws instead of nails, using a piece of not plywood, that's a piece of 1x12 scrap piece with a C-clamp, so I can just put it up there and do this in instead of having somebody hold it for me. Got everything squared up. Now, the way we're going to do this is that the hardware cloth is going to meet right here. It's going to come across and go right here in the middle of this board. See how I've got two boards down there? I'll be putting another board right here to the other end. I'm zigzagging I've got the ladder that the chickens will be going up and down. Something that I've noticed with that is that whenever they come up the ladder, right now the ladder is not in operation because there's no fence to keep stuff from getting chickens, is that they come up and they're going to have to, first of us, I've got getting a lot of poo right here. Hey, what are you pecking me for, huh? What do I do to you? I feed you, water you, and you peck my hand. Yeah. So I may be moving this gate up to the next section. Let's say that I want to move that gate, the drop down gate up here. I've already got it framed in right here so that all I have to do is unscrew the little drop down gate, move it up here, and screw it right into this section here. So I've got this board here, and then that one there, then these two, so it's going to be zigzagging. We're putting the chicken wire on, and my wife had the idea of overlapping the wire, bending it, and then whenever we go to put it up against the other coop, remember this plywood's coming off, that the two coop, having it press against the two coops will help keep the wire pulled tight. And I think that's a pretty good idea. And what happens is, let me show y'all in here. Let me show y'all what happens. I don't know if y'all gonna be able to see this or not. Is that so whenever they push on it, right here moves. Okay, that wire right there, wherever it is not nailed, it has some slack. Hey fella, or girl, hey lady, all these are supposed to be hens. Is that has a little bit of slack wherever it's not nailed, like right there where my thumb is at. See? You push down like them chickens standing on that, you see the other side over there moving as I press down on it. So hopefully having this between the two coops, I'm going to use a C-clamp and pull it together real tight Then I'll use screws that run through here and into the other coop. And see how that helps keep that wire from pulling whenever there's weight on it. We have the hardware cloth secured down. Something I've noticed is that if you rotate out or stagger these staples, like one here, one there, and stagger them between the rows on the hardware cloth, it pulls a lot of the slack out. That if you have all the staples on one side on the same row, it's like there's a lot of slack that can be pulled out. So I started staggering them there. Just kind of staggering them between the splice here in the middle. Seemed to have a lot of slack in it, so I just did what I could with it. We may come down and put like a little coat of latex paint on there just to cover up those little sharp edges. I took the hammer and just kind of bam, 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 bam on the sharp edges. Try to get them out of there. This is a 2-foot area. Put a board right in the middle of 2 foot. This coop is 4 feet wide, so that's 16-inch center here, 16-inch center there, and then out to the edge, and then 1 2 foot, so the support bars are staggered, so they're all secured in. This area here I'm not too concerned about. This is where I can move the ladder to if I decide I want to later on. I went ahead and framed this in the same dimension as the ladder on the other side, so all I have to do is unscrew the ladder, cut me a door right here, just cut me a door right there, move the ladder up here, come in and cut this wire out, secure it. I need to put another staple right there. Just don't want anything like a dog or something getting up underneath there and just bam, jumping up and trying to grab the chickens. I'm gonna get as much as the slack out as possible. It's like I put that one in there, just kind of staggered them. It seems to help with the slack a little bit better than just putting them all on the same row. All we're using is 3/4 galvanized staples, driving them in by hand. Here's the perches I put together, and I hope this is going to be enough. If it's not, I'll add a couple of more. Got a couple of these little cheapo 2x4s, and they split. I had to drill a pilot hole on this one and not cinch it down so much. What we did, we came up, and now this excess material, we're going to be cutting all this off right up here, about 6 inches up here or so. Put this board, and then cut these. Put 2 screws on the back side. Let's see if we can show y'all that. Yep, 2 screws right there. And then that comes down right on top of this joist, and then another screw right there. Same thing on that one. Got 2 screws on the back side coming down. I might need to sink that in a little bit more, but I don't want that wood to split. But it comes right down and sits right down on top of that joist. We've got these perches nailed on with some 10-penny nails. And this is some wood that we cut from behind the house, just clearing out for the chicken coop. Threw it on the burning pile, and it didn't want to burn, so I was like, well, let's just go ahead and use it for perches. See what they think about it. I'm wondering if they're going to perch all the way up there on the top. Now there's going to be a vent. I'm going to cut me another vent window just like I did on the other side right here, but I want to make it a little bit bigger because the perch is going to be on this side. This one's going to be, the other side's 24 inches. This one's going to be 30 inches. 30-inch long vent window. We've got the side on it, and we're getting ready to go together with the 2 coops. One problem that we ran into was whenever I screwed this brace down for the perch, the coop itself was out of square. So what we ended up with was like a big offset right here. So we had like got a little bit of an off. See how that's recessed? That's so that we could go back in and put a 1x4 cover, like a trim piece over it. And I'm going to cover these seams with 1x4 treated material. Alright, so what we did was that we squared it up. We took the brace loose down there, took this brace loose down here, then used that plywood to square it up. We're getting ready to go together with the 2 of them. Thank you for the water. Here's what the inside of the coop looks like. We've just butted it up. I'm going to be squaring this edge right here up, or leveling it out. Got to square the boards over there up, level everything out, and I just hope it don't rain today. That would just ruin everything. Not ruin it, but I just really don't need the rain right now. Looks like she likes laying in the sun. To square the two sections of the chicken coop up, well, what I did was I took a C-clamp and a 2x4 and just put the C-clamp on the 2x4 and pulled it in. And that helped bring the two sections together. I've still got a little bit of a gap right there. I need to pull together. It's no big deal. I can take and run me a screw inside of there and hold that together. Release the C-clamp. If y'all have ever done any welding, this would be called tacking, or using a dog and a wedge. Same thing over here. We've got a C-clamp, 2x4. Work out the high and the low. Well guys, there it is. The two halves of the chicken coop have been butted together. We've got a ridge cap up there. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work out. We got that on sale at Lowe's for like 58 cents. It's an 8-foot section. Grandkids out there fighting over toys. Something I learned as I was putting the two sections together is that it needs some cross braces, like going from there to here. Is that while I was putting the two pieces together, that this second section got out of square, and I had to go back and square it up, kick it over. What happened was, if you look down the leg and line up the edges of the legs of the walls, the back end had dog-legged out. So I had to go back and kick it over. And the top is a little still out of square. It's a bad out of square, in fact, but it'll keep the three things that I'm concerned about is the security of the chickens, keeping them dry, warm and cool. I'm gonna cut me a vent wind up there on the top. Well, that's four things, yeah. Get security, keeping them dry, cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Yeah, that's four things. This is the little gate. Next step is to paint it. You got to paint this plywood. This is a scab piece I put on there for right now. The seam where the two pieces come together, I'm going to put a treated 1x4 over the plywood seam to help keep water from getting inside of here. And I'm going to bring it down, probably say a ½ inch or so. Get me get a piece of 1x4, 8 feet long, cut it in half, chamfer the top a little bit so it'll go up against the peak good, and bring it down to the bottom of the plywood and paint it all in. Alright guys and gals, that's it for now. I've got it figured up with the size of the coop. I've got 3 square feet per chicken inside the coop. And if I fence it in underneath, that'll be 6 top and bottom. That'll be 6 square feet.